Hey, this is Doug Field. Welcome back to this segment of Healthcare Consumers Radio. I'm joined here in the studio with my guest host, Sanders McConnell. And our guest on this segment is Lowell Ricklefs, Chairman and CEO of FlexMinder, a company that really helps consumers better manage their FSAs. Good morning, Lowell.
Good morning.
Hey, great to have you on the program today. Appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate being here.
Give our audience background around FlexMinder, if you would, please.
Sure. So FlexMinder, in a nutshell, we automate the claim submission process for TPAs who support the administration of FSA, HRA, and HSA accounts. The company was really born out of frustration as a participant. I was a participant for 15 years. I was frustrated with the process, the requirement to collect receipts at the end of the year, fill out forms, mail, fax, scan things in. And then the debit card was supposed to be the solution. But 20 to 30% of the time, my debit card would be challenged, and I'd have to provide that documentation anyway. Mm-hmm. So with a technology background, we decided there had to be a way that we could apply technology to streamline this process. Like I say, initially it was focused on participants, mm-hmm. But it turns out there are significant benefits for the TPAs as well.
Mm-hmm. So tell us how it works.
Sure. So it's really pretty straightforward. So we're a software company. We are a technology company, but we're like Intel inside. We're fairly quiet. So we white label our software, and we've actually integrated that into two platforms, claim processing platforms, and we'll integrate it into a third. But basically, the TPA adopts our software. It's very, very simple to integrate. And then they roll it out to their employer groups and their employees who sign up for the service by giving us their username and their password for their insurance portal. And once we've got that, it allows us to download their claim activity. And when we identify a qualified out-of-pocket expense, we automatically submit that to the TPA, and the participant gets reimbursed. So 100% of their eligible expenses are presented to the TPA, and to the extent they have funds available, it's presented back to them for reimbursement.
Now, Lowell, does this work for FSAs, HSAs, and HRAs, or just FSAs?
It works for FSAs, HRAs, and HSAs.
Okay.
As many people may know, HSAs don't have the same stringent requirements to be reimbursed.
Right.
However, you are liable to prove to the IRS that you have incurred a legitimate expense. And we actually save a PDF copy of your EOB form. So if you're ever audited, you've got a nice, clean set of documents that you can show to the IRS that they were all legitimate expenses.
Hey, Lowell, this is Sanders. How is FlexMinder unique or different than your competitors in the marketplace?
Sure. So, part of it comes from our team experience building, scaling, high-volume, secure systems. And part of it is really on the onboarding side. Because this is a permission-based system, it's critical that participants sign up for it. And we see variance across the board. But we've had participation rates as high as 94%. And part of that is the time and the skill that we've got that we give to the onboarding materials and our understanding of the process itself. The influencers, whether it's the brokers, whether it's HR, the participants themselves, the different touch points and the materials required to get people's interest and then to get them to feel comfortable with the system and then to sign up for it. And then there's a fair amount of word of mouth as well once people sign up. Also, the system is ultra secure. All data is encrypted both at rest and in transit. And ultimately, we make the TPA the hero. We are white labeled. We're quiet in the background, and our goal is to help the TPA win new business and reduce their costs.
So Lowell, the TPA is your primary direct customer, correct?
It is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're very focused on the TPA. We participate. We're members of ECFC, EBIA, NAPBA. It's where we live and breathe. Yes, it's what we do.
Now, for distribution of these TPAs, do you partner with others as well to get to that market?
Well, we do. So I think in the public domain so it's fair for me to talk about it. We are integrated into the Allegis platform, and I believe they've got about 350 TPAs that's been exposed to. We have a second partnership that hasn't been publicly disclosed, but probably the next largest claim platform we're integrating with now. That'll be rolled out in January. And then we've got a third platform that we're working with as well. And that really makes it easier for the TPAs, if they're using that platform, to adopt our service. So there's some extra functionality, particularly on increasing the auto-substantiation rate for debit card transactions when it's pre-integrated into their claim platform.
Yeah, I bet we could guess on one hand who those partnerships are, but we won't do that here on the radio. In fact, you and I met at the Allegis user conference. That was the first time we
did.
met.
Yeah. Yes, we did. They did a great job.
Yeah.
They do a nice job with that. Yeah,
they did. What's your business model, Lowell?
Well, so our business model, we currently contract. Even through, with Allegis, we signed a BAA agreement with the TPA, so we work with the TPAs directly. So it's a PPPM, and it's primarily an eligible model. So it's a 15 cents per participant per month on the eligible model. So it's simple to set up, and it's easy to roll out, and we can work fairly quickly.
So, talk about some recent success stories that you can share with us on the radio.
Sure. So one of the things that's been kind of interesting is I had a meeting. I'll leave them anonymous. I didn't get their permission to name them, but it was a rather large TPA. They've got about 120,000 participants, and it was interesting. I met with the manager of their operations group, and was surprised she was able to meet with us in the middle of the Q4 rush. And her comment was, largely due to the adoption of FlexMinder, it's actually reduced their Q4 rush. They haven't even had to go to overtime yet. So the fact that FlexMinder tees up opportunities for reimbursement consistently as it sees them throughout the year reduces the end of year deadline rush, which has been terrific. In addition, we've actually got an ROI calculator we can share with people so they can look at their own business and plug in their own variables. But it looks like we actually, rather than being a cost, the ROI, we actually save companies about 10%. So we can reduce overall operating expenses related to administering an FSA by about 10%. And lastly, we've helped TPAs win new business. So we help them differentiate their service from their competitors and win new business. So both on the top line and the bottom line, we're trying to help TPAs.
What are some of the biggest challenges your TPA partners are facing right now?
Well, TPAs are, besides keeping up with changing regulations, it's a struggle to stay profitable. It's a very competitive industry. In many cases, it's difficult for them to differentiate themselves from one another. And one of our biggest fans we typically find at the TPA is the salesperson, which is not something I would have intuitively thought when we started the business. But it gives them and it gives their brokers something new and interesting to go talk about with their HR contract with their employers. Yeah.
What impact do you see on your business, or not, from this very disruptive, potentially exploding private exchange market?
Well, I think all of the changes. I think it's a good place to be right now. I think technology can help to resolve and add efficiencies to all aspects of the healthcare market. I mean, it's a huge market. I think the inefficiencies, the differences in costs. There's a shift in consumption to the consumer, both in you mentioned the exchanges and purchasing their policy, as well as the consumer with higher deductible healthcare plans cares more about how much a procedure costs because for the first 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 they'll have to foot the bill for that. So I think we're uniquely positioned. Initially, like I say, the company was focused on we call it workflow automation, automating a claim submission process. But we're slowly turning into a data company. And when you're working with medical data and you can see the variance in prices, there are ways that we can serve this data up to consumers to help them understand their healthcare plan, to help them understand their healthcare spending, help them understand the bill, understand the pricing. With better information, we believe consumers can make better decisions. And so I'm a fan of a lot of the change. I know it's fairly chaotic to a lot of the businesses, but I think we can reduce costs across the board for TPAs and employers, and ultimately help consumers keep more and more of their hard-earned money.
That's great. Lowell, we've got about a minute to go. Do you have any other takeaways you'd like to leave our audience with?
Well, no, if any other questions, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Appreciate anyone who's listening for taking the time to listen. Feel free to take a look at our website. We've got some interesting videos that explain what we do. It's www.flexminder.com. Feel free to reach out. Scott is our sales leader. Reach out to Scott at flexminder.com. You can reach out to me personally if you'd like. It's Lowell, Lowell, at flexminder.com. And our phone number is 612-232-8014. We'd love to talk to you.
Thanks, Lowell. Really appreciate it. And it's a week away, but if you can break away, I'd love to see you join us at IHC Forum West, November 10th through 12th in Las Vegas. We're going to have a good group of people out there, and love to see you out there. So if you can make it,
okay.
Look forward to seeing
Let's talk about it. That's not far. We're in rainy Seattle, so that's not far away. Let's talk about it.
I know you are. Listen, have a great weekend.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. And Sanders,
Yep.
appreciate you joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having us.
It's been fun having you. As I just said to Lowell and to our audience, listening audience out there, it's still time to join us at IHC Forum West in Las Vegas, November 10th through 12th. You can go to our website, IHCCforum.com. I hope everyone has a very safe and happy Halloween, and we'll see you next week on Healthcare Consumerism Radio.